Hello, beautiful listeners. Welcome to another episode of You Are Poetry podcast, the place where we dive deep into the oceans of self-discovery, self-belief, and the endless journey to finding our true selves. I'm your host, Rheta, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here with me today. We're talking about something really, really wonderful. Today's conversation is about 9 character traits of a true friend. And this is deeper than just, finding, a friend who you get along with and you guys have so much in common and you see each other often. And so, you're like, oh, they're my friend. I want to talk about these lightning bolts that hit you that are just as powerful as finding your mate in life, right? It's about finding your people who see you and you see them, and the value in that, and how important it is to keep on the lookout as you are growing up and getting older for adding to your tribe, adding to the people who are your people. It's really, really important. And this is a shout out to my people, and you ladies know exactly who you are because you guys have been there for me as I started this journey in sharing my stories and on recording this podcast, You Are Poetry podcast. So a shout out to my people who encouraged me on my journey. This is an episode for you. So, number 1, empathy. A friend who shows genuine empathy, understands and shares your feelings. Overall, what that means is that you find a comfort in that relationship, especially when you're going through challenging times. The past 2 years of my life have been challenging in different ways. And the result of that has been my need to rely on women in my life. I think that we all go through these moments where we decide that we're going to go through something and we're not going to go through it alone. I think that's a really powerful moment in womanhood when you decide to take someone with you or a few people with you in real time, in the moment of what your challenge is. That is like showing up for battle with all the troops on your team, ready for war to fight beside you through it. And empathy is so important to access when your friends are going through something in their life that requires you to show up in full armor on their side in the battlefield for them. Empathy is number 1. I naturally am an empathic person, and I wouldn't even think that I would really be placing that as like the number 1 thing that I would be looking for in friendship. But what I realize as I've, developed these friendships and relationships, and I've gone deeper and accessed true friendship with women, I've realized that empathy obviously has to be a large factor in the dynamic between me and my friends, because being seen by someone and sharing that feeling and them on your side to help you through the challenge it requires them to put themselves in your shoes. Many of my friends have gone through the challenges that I'm about to face, and so they can offer me their thought process and the things that helped them get through it. And then I have friends, true friends, that have never faced what I've faced, and they did not even hesitate to jump in the fire with me, making sure that I didn't burn to a crisp through that experience. So, number one is empathy, finding people who can and who want to know what it's like to live your life, to live your experience, and that they can share in that with you and lighten the load for that. That's what we're looking for in a truly valuable friendship dynamic. Number two, reliability. A reliable friend is someone you can count on, period. Knowing that they're going to follow through on their commitment to you and they're going to be there for you when you need them. So the call goes out, like the bat signal is up. The smoke fire is lit. Okay. I'm flaming smoke signals over here. I'm saying I need you. And then I'm going to take a step back and say, and who is showing up? And for me, I am fortunate enough to tell you that it exists, people who show up and show up consistently for you. It is a thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a true friendship thing. When you put out the call that you are in trouble and that you are going through something that is heavier than you can carry right now, and your people hear it, and they say the Calvary is on its way. There's nothing like that. I promise you that I would not be sitting here right now, today, telling you about my beautiful people if they had not consistently been reliable in my life. And the value of that and what that does for you, insofar as the support that is required to go through many of the heavy challenges that we are going through each day, it's incredible. It's incredible. Being reliable in relationship to someone else is absolutely what we need to be looking for out of a true friend. Number three, humor. A friend with a good sense of humor can lighten the mood and bring joy to your interactions. And if you have a lot of heavy stuff that you're dealing with, which all of us do, there's a lot of minutia and small fires that you have to put out, especially when you're raising kids. Every day it's something new. When you're in your career, every day it's something else that comes across your desk that you have to deal with. And then to look, for the silver lining can be challenging, to always remain optimistic, always having this positive, outlook. And many of us will just scroll on our phones, right? If I'm really feeling down, I'll just scroll on my phone and I know in particular what funny, entertaining things to watch. But how amazing is it when your friend sends you a video or your friend sends you a message, or, you could reach out to your true friends and they lighten up exactly what you're going through. That's so wonderful. I mean, I'm not the friend who tells jokes. I was just telling my girlfriends, it's this podcast is not a funny, haha entertainment space, because that's just not me. I can find humor in situations and people can find the stories that I tell to be funny, but I'm not trying to be funny. And I really do appreciate the humor that other people offer in my life. My husband has dry humor and it's maybe sarcastic sometimes. And I have been finding the value in that, I'll be in the heat of arguing about something with the kids and this and that. And he'll say something and it will completely alleviate all of that stress, right? Laughter is such a beautiful quality. They say the older you get, the less you smile, which when I heard that, I was really, really young. I think I heard that in high school even, that technically we smile less the older we get. And if you knew me in high school, I was always smiling. So much so that when people would walk past me and I would not have a smile on my face, they would stop everything and say, "What's wrong? What happened? What's going on?" The world was not right if I was not smiling. And as I've gotten older, I have noticed that I have to chase laughter. I have to chase joy. I have to chase the lighthearted side of things. I tend to be more of a serious mother. I tend to be more of a serious wife. I tend to take life seriously because it means something to me living this life, being blessed to show up every day. So by default, when something really, really means a lot to you, you tend to take it seriously, right? But taking life seriously does not mean that you can't take the joy, that you take the joy out of the situation, that you take the joy out of life. I think actually the opposite. You really have to leave some space for laughter and not taking yourself too seriously and not taking the situation too seriously and laughing together with people. And it just makes you feel good. Honestly, smiling is my default, and laughter is something that I chase. I really I have a fond memory of growing up and hearing my mom on the phone with her girlfriends in the back room, and she would be laughing. My mom has the really, really hysterical laugh, and she would laugh, 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 laugh. People who laugh with their entire spirit, their entire body, and it just keeps going on and on. That's how my mom laughs. And I would be like, what is so funny? What is going on these conversations? And then you become an adult and you talk to your girlfriends and you realize, oh, that's what we're talking about, life, laughing at life. So when you can laugh at life with your friends, with your people, humor, that's something that is valuable in a relationship dynamic and in a true friendship. We can make life and the hard parts about life more enjoyable for each other. Number 4, respect for boundaries. A friend who respects your boundaries demonstrates an understanding of your personal space and limits. So it's really, really healthy to have boundaries, to know yourself, to know what you like, to know what you don't like, to know what your line is, and then to be able to communicate that to your friends and to the people who love you. That's important for you to have individually, but it's really important for your people to have paid enough attention to you along the time that you've spent with them to then respect and honor that you have that boundary. And that fosters a really, really healthy dynamic. And it's important. And I would say it's important because in true friendship and relationship, there's a vulnerability there. And so you share things that might be controversial. You share things that might be polarizing. You share things that may not be popular opinion, but they're your opinion right now, or they're your thoughts right now. And that respect of your friend allowing you enough breathing space to work those things out and to, be a sounding board for one another, that's a really, really great space to have in relationship. Number 5 is honesty. And so that leads, and the respect for boundaries and stuff leads and builds upon the idea that you have honesty between the two of you and between each other. And that honesty is crucial in true friendship. If a friend is honest with you when it's difficult, it shows that they value you, that they trust you, and that your relationship has ultimately integrity, because they're not afraid that the framework of your relationship is going to dissolve because they were honest, because they just told you how it was. I just came from a wonderful coffee meetup with my girlfriends, my people. You know who you are. And it fills us up. It fills our cups up. We check in with one another and we find out, what are the struggles of the day? What are some ongoing struggles? What's the check-in? What's the temperature of those things? And we come together and leave enough space for each other to, to share of our experience with each other. And my girlfriend said, well, I would want you to be honest with me. We're talking about our kids and, and situations that come up. And if if there's enough space within some of these relationships that we have with just neighbors or associates, do you tell them the truth? Do you say, I witnessed this or I saw this, and maybe we should have a conversation about what's going on? And in respect to them, I'm not going to bring up specifically what we talked about, but the ability to ask for honesty from your true friendship, friend dynamic and your friend is important. And it's important to feel that you can ultimately be honest with them and lean into the space of sharing what you're really thinking. I mean, it must be incredibly exhausting to hold these boundaries constantly, or maybe boundaries isn't the right word, but like holding this facade up to keep distance away from people so that they don't truly know how you feel about something. That's exhausting. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that with my real true friends. I want to feel like it's that figuratively, like letting my hair down. Like I show up and I show who I am. Like that feels good. It feels really, really good. Number 6, acceptance of differences. Of course. I mean, why does it feel so good to be honest and vulnerable and not judged about the things that I'm sharing? Because I know ultimately that my friends, my true friends, are accepting of me. They're accepting of me even when it's not in alignment necessarily with their exact thought or their exact feeling towards something. When it's exposing a difference of opinion, a difference that we have in our approach to life, right? A friend who can embrace and accept your differences in opinions, in your beliefs, in lifestyle, it creates this inclusive and non-judgmental environment that is priceless. Absolutely priceless. As you are evolving into yourself and making different choices and acting out your different story that you're telling yourself and then you're sharing with others about who you want to become, it's really, really amazing to be seen by people in this new version of yourself and feel included in the conversation and feel included in the group and in the community because they accept that you're different and they find value in those differences. Perhaps you're offering up a new insight that they didn't think about. Because we're not, a lot of times I feel like there's this misconception about friendship, that friendship means we're identical. Friendship means that you think exactly what I think and there's no friction, developed in friendship. And that's not true. Friends have different dynamics that actually make it more interesting when there's different layers to people's thought process or approach or personality style towards life. And it can give you a window into their experience. And then you can kind of take that vision into how you approach things. So many times I leave conversations with my people, my true friends, my girlfriends, and I realize I'm going to actually try to see it the way that they described it. I'm going to try to see my children through different eyes. I normally would do this, but actually today I'm going to try and do it a different way. Like my one girlfriend, her approach is to play more with children, to play more with your children. And I have tried that on for size and you find what works. And sometimes other people's way works. And that's what's important, is trying to see things from different perspectives. I said before in the last podcast that none of us as teachers are not students. We are still teaching one another, but we have so much to learn. So always leaving enough space for acceptance of someone's different approach to life is important in true friendship. Number 7, forgiveness. Friends who can forgive and move past the conflicts and mistakes, they show a willingness to prioritize the friendship over the disagreements. What this means is you are establishing the framework for a long-lasting bond. Friendship is built over frequency. Frequency builds friendship. That means the more I interact with you, the more I share with you, the more trust I build with you over time, the deeper our friendship roots become. And then the more we can bask in the shade and the glory of our beautiful tree. I'm just using that as an imagery, right? But in general, friendship and the beauty of friendship is that you are planting these little seeds along the way, and they're taking root and they're developing, they're becoming really well established, and eventually the harvest is a beautiful friendship that you can definitely brag about like I'm doing in this podcast episode, right? So forgiveness is important in friendship because you're not always going to make the right step. Sometimes I overstep. Sometimes I overshare. Sometimes I overstate my point. Sometimes I forget that we're just having a conversation and not a debate, that I'm not trying to prove something in this moment with my friends. I've done that, and I've circled back and I've said, I was really harsh. I was really harsh about my long-held judgment that I had. Whether my judgment was right or wrong is not the issue, but I should not have maybe crossed into your boundary and been so harsh with you. And I would hate for you, my friend, to take that as a something that makes you feel bad. The point of sharing and talking and being in friendship with each other is not to get close to people and hurt them. It is to get close to people and heal them. Which leads us to number 8, supportive challenge. So a friend who challenges you to grow and improve, they're worth their weight in gold. When someone can provide support through encouragement, it helps you reach your full potential. So we are not just friends when it's easy, when it's convenient, when I don't have to extend myself. We're friends through challenging moments that are ultimately built around the idea of you growing and improving from that challenge. I've had hard conversations with my people, with my girlfriends, about choices I've made or choices they've made or situations they've been involved in. And we've kept it as a learning moment, as a moment where we are going to talk about something that's really challenging while we still support each other to move past it. So true, valuable friendship can handle challenges, and they handle challenges by attacking the problem, not the person. And that ends up being more of a supportive environment for growing and for improving. Number 8, supportive challenge. Very, very important. Number 9, celebration of success. A true friend celebrates your successes and achievements genuinely. They're not envious or competitive, right? And you foster this positive and uplifting energy towards the friendship. I always say, I cannot wait to drink champagne at your celebration. There is probably no good thing that happens to you as a true friend of mine that I'm not probably more excited that it's happening for you. Because if it's happening for you and it's something great and it's something good and it's elevated you, I'm in the water with you. I'm in the same sea with you, right? So my boat is rising with you. I am excited when you get excited. I cry when you cry. I am in pain when you are in pain. And I celebrate when you celebrate. And that is true friendship. And it's genuine and it's authentic and it's beautiful. It is a lovely thing when you intentionally find the relationships that build you up instead of the relationships that break you down. I want to leave you today with this conversation with the concept of believing that you deserve real, true, amazing friendship, and that you're capable of showing up for people in these ways that I've outlined, and so many more. Think about the relationships that you currently have, and if you find that they're not as fulfilling, think about maybe bringing some of these elements and going a little bit deeper with someone. Or start looking for these elements and start trying to develop intentional friendships. And you will see what I've discovered is that becoming the person that I want to be becomes easier with these people on your side. Until our next conversation, take care.